Now these guys, after accusing me of misinformation, are waging war against our old friend Tylenol. That cute little tablet we've known and eaten for years is now public enemy number one. The president and the croakiest Kennedy are telling us not to take Tylenol, which is confusing between the new rules for that and vaccines and who knows what else is next, maybe Flintstones vitamins.
Trump brought Elon Musk to the White House. They bring a Tesla, and Trump's like, I'm buying a Tesla with my own money, and
which nobody believes.
And the man did a full-on infomercial. I'm like, this is the president of the United States.
Yep.
Shilling cars for this low price, one-time offer. You can buy a Tesla. If you call now, and for this short time, limited period.
The latest season of Trump's presidency doesn't feel like a serious drama. It feels like a funny sitcom that was created by accident and directed by complete chaos. Jimmy Kimmel and Trevor Noah don't even need to try hard to make jokes because the funny moments walk onto the stage by themselves. Trump wanted to be the main hero in a big, important story of history. But instead, he keeps falling into roles that look like outtakes from a blooper reel. Kimmel compares him to a man who orders a steak.
Hear from one very special friend. Moments after we taped our show last night, the Mad Red Hatter wrote, I can't believe ABC Fake News gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. You can't believe they gave me my job back. I can't believe we gave you your job back.
The point is Trump sent out one of his thingies, I don't know what they called, and it was like, Trevor Noah was never funny, Jon Stewart was only slightly better, and then like he goes on like a rant and he's just like, these people don't realize they moved more to the center like me, they would have more followers. Then I'm like, center like you? I'm like, my man, you think you're...
Trump's brilliant idea of running the country like a reality TV show is like a gift that never stops giving, at least for comedians. Every press conference feels like the worst audition ever for America's Got Talent, except here the talent is making facts disappear and juggling contradictions. Kimmel jumps on this, describing how Trump turns a serious press briefing into open mic night at a comedy club that no one even asked for. Noah goes further, pointing out how Trump's campaign promises aged worse than spoiled milk left out on the counter. The wall that was supposed to change security...
I was at the Ryder Cup over the weekend, which kind of explains this caveman-like behavior. The president has been hard at work coming up with all sorts of nonsense to distract us from the Epstein files, including, I don't know if you saw this, but he made a major announcement. I am ordering my administration to declassify and release all government records related to Amelia Earhart. Her final tip and everything else about her. Thank you for...
What is he going to do when he loses?
Yeah, people act like
I'm being for real about this, by the way. Like, I think people take for granted that guy thinks everything is a conspiracy.
Trev, you're smarter than me. Please explain this to people, because I've been trying to tell people it's not going to be a peaceful transfer of power. I don't think it's going to be a transfer of power at all. I don't think he's going anywhere.
I don't think Donald Trump does anything normally. I wouldn't be shocked if he just goes like...
Trump's connection with numbers is just as messy as his connection with his advisors. Statistics enter his speeches, but quickly fall apart, like confetti being thrown by someone who doesn't even understand what a parade is. Kimmel points out that Trump has a clear pattern. He makes bold claims with the confidence of a student who never opened the textbook. Noah adds to the joke, comparing Trump's economic claims to a car salesman trying to convince you that a car is perfect, even though the engine is missing. Each time he brags, it's like blowing up a...
And there's more. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. No, they weren't. Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone and his talent was never there. That I can't argue with. Shut the f*** up. The freedom of speech is only for me.
Trump's foreign policy looks more like a parody of diplomacy than the real thing. He wants to show power, but it ends up looking like a teenager flexing in front of a mirror. Kimmel makes fun of his performances at international meetings, saying they feel like awkward family reunions, where one uncle tries way too hard to be the center of attention. Noah makes the point sharper, saying Trump thinks shaking hands with world leaders is the same as making real deals. But instead of real strategy, he gives people a show. Instead,
Say what you want to say about Eric Adams. He did one thing no other New York City mayor has ever done. He made Bill de Blasio look good. So there's talk that Mayor Adams might become our next ambassador to Saudi Arabia, which that would be good for Trump finally, and Eric he can be proud of. As you know, over the last 10 days or so, we've been through quite an ordeal. And by we, I mean Mets fans. Yesterday I was wearing my Mets hat, I was wearing my Mets shirt, and wouldn't you know the Mets went and did the Metsiest thing possible.
Trump's domestic policy isn't any better. He promised to drain the swamp, but Noah laughs, saying the swamp didn't go away. It got a luxury hotel and room service under his watch. Kimmel highlights the irony of watching a man who ran against elites spend his time golfing with them. Every time he called himself a champion of the working class, another billionaire joined his cabinet. It's like a sneaky bait-and-switch trick that would make a used car sale.
Interrupt the president. Why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? Who puts the network in jeopardy? You hear that? There's the threat again. This time straight from FCC Biscuit's mouth. He goes, he says, I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Only Donald Trump would try to prove he wasn't threatening ABC by threatening.
Trump is obsessed with his image. He doesn't measure success through policies or results. He measures it through how loud the crowd claps. Kimmel mocks his obsession with crowd sizes, saying only someone really insecure about popularity would turn a national tragedy into a math debate. Noah laughs at how the leader of the free world spends his nights angrily counting likes on social media, like a teenager upset about missing prom. For a man who wants to be remembered as historic, his legacy...
He's releasing the Earhart file. At least he made it to the E's in the files. That's progress. Tomorrow we release the Ebert files. We will finally get to the bottom of what happened to Siskel. Meanwhile, Vice President Maybelline was making the rounds, attempting to defend his boss and the chairman of the FCC with a new fairy tale even a 5-year-old wouldn't believe.
Celebrities are rallying to his cause, saying this is a First Amendment assault being carried out by the FCC, Brendan Carr, and by the President of the United States himself. To that, you say?
Well, there are two things. First of all, I'd like them to tell me exactly what Brendan Carr did to have Jimmy Kimmel taken off the air, because number one, he is currently on the air. To the extent that he isn't in certain stations, it's because he's not funny, because his ratings aren't.
Even Trump's speeches give comedians endless material. Noah jokes that his way of speaking sounds like someone reading a bedtime story, but forgetting who the main character is every few sentences. He adds that Trump's public speeches sound like badly translated instruction manuals, long, confusing, and totally useless. For comedians, this is a treasure chest of jokes. But for the country, it's a big headache. Comedians get paid to laugh. Citizens have to live with the consequences. His healthcare plan was another comedy sketch. Trump promised to repeal and replace, but ended up doing neither. Kimmel compares it to promising a delicious cake and then handing out an empty...
Yes, guys, at this moment, you know Trump, only Donald Trump, the President of the United States, the man who claims to know where technology, economies, markets, all of it is going. He gets in the car, he looks at the instrument panel and exclaims like somebody who has discovered a new world. He's like, wow, it's all computer.
So he's never been in a Tesla.
Yeah, but he doesn't say it's all digital.
No, it's all computer, like your grandma.
It's all computer.
Yeah, they put computer in car.
Trump's loyalty tests are famous. He doesn't want real advisors. He wants cheerleaders. Kimmel laughs at the endless firings and resignations, calling it the worst live-action version of The Apprentice ever. Noah goes further, pointing out that anyone who dared to tell the truth was kicked out faster than a heckler at a comedy club. Surrounding himself with yes men didn't make him powerful. It made him disconnected from reality. And every time one of his loyal followers got burned, comedians sharpened their pens for another roast. His environmental policy was another mess. Trump pulled America out of agreements like a kid storming away from games he couldn't win. Kimmel points out how strange it is for a man who claims greatness to trip over the basics of governing. Noah nails the irony. The more Trump insists he's a legend, the more history laughs at him. Real leaders inspire nations. Trump inspires.
I have to feel sorry for the people who work for him, who try to clean up the messes. They've been bending over backwards to say, oh, he never threatened. J.D. Vance today made the claim that what the FCC chairman said was a joke, which, I don't know, maybe that was a joke? I don't know. They go to all of these lengths to say, oh, it wasn't coercion. The president was just musing. And then the second Trump is alone, he sits on the toilet, he gets his grubby little thumbs on his phone, and he immediately blows their excuse.
Trump's use of social media is impossible to ignore. Kimmel jokes that it's like the world's worst diary, where secrets aren't kept, they're shouted. He mocks how the president uses social media as his personal therapy space. Instead of policy updates, Americans get emotional rants and chaos. For comedians, it's free content. For everyone else, it's proof that Trump thinks running a country is just one more post away from perfection. His talk about the economy isn't safe either. Trump paints it as his masterpiece, but comedians rip that image apart. Kimmel jokes that calling Trump the architect of economic success is like giving credit.
He'll spend some time bragging about his $200 million ballroom again. He said it's going to be the greatest ballroom anywhere in the world. Oh, how exhilarating for all of us. He's so excited for these balls, he can taste them. Trump claims he's going to pay for some of the cost of the ballroom as a gift to us, which, thank you very much. We'll never be in it, but thank you very much. And he's already figured out where to get the money. Trump today became the first president to sue the New York Times. He's suing the New York Times for $15 billion for defamation. $15 billion. Where does he even come up? These are like numbers my children make up when they're talking about.
Noah leans into the irony, explaining that during a global emergency, Trump treated it like another stage for self-promotion. Instead of steady leadership, people saw denial dressed as fake optimism, with terrible consequences. Daily briefings turned into tragic comedy episodes. Trump walked across the stage like he was auditioning for a role he wrote for himself. But there was no script. Kimmel compared the scene to improv theater performed by someone who doesn't know the rules. Noah added that this improvisation didn't just fail, it endangered lives.
One glimmer of hope that I get from Donald Trump is that he also doesn't know what he's doing. He's in it with us, which is a nice change. Oftentimes we're at the mercy of those in power, but he's in the mercy with us. Like we're all locked in a prison cell, but he's holding the key and he's like, we're all trapped. What are we gonna do? We're like, use the key. What? What are you talking about? And the reason I say this is because Trump came out, he hosted a press conference about dropping the bombs. And he was shocked in the press conference. He came out and he's like, the United States military, that's us, launched missiles, bunker busters, all around on all their nuclear facilities. And boy, you don't understand. Never seen bombs like that before. And I called. I'm the one who called. I said, drop the bomb. I didn't know I was going to call. And then I was on the plane. Then I said, I'm calling. Drop the bomb. And the bomb.
Beyond the daily disasters, the long-term damage turned Trump into a warning story instead of a heroic leader. Kimmel joked that he turned the White House into the most expensive open mic night ever, where the punchlines cost real lives. Noah sharpened the point by noting that the man who claimed to be indispensable turned out to be completely unprepared. His legacy isn't about strength, it's about chaos. In trying to write his own heroic story, Trump ended up writing a farce. Kimmel roasted his constant hunger for applause, reminding everyone that a leader obsessed with TV ratings shouldn't be trusted with handling a crisis. Even his recovery plans felt like comedy sketches. Promises of miracle turnarounds were delivered.
Well, Trump announced the suit this morning. He wrote, today I have great honor of bringing a $15 billion defamation and libel lawsuit against the New York Times, one of the worst and most degenerate newspapers in the history of our country. The Times has engaged in a decades-long method of lying about your favorite president, me, my family business, the America First movement, MAGA, and our nation as a whole. The New York Times has been allowed to freely lie, smear, and defame me for far too long, and that stops now.
Kimmel points out how every big announcement Trump made eventually collapsed under the pressure of reality. Noah describes the whole scene like slapstick comedy, Trump slipping on his own banana peel again and again. What was supposed to make him look strong only showed how weak he was. What was meant to secure his legacy guaranteed people would laugh instead. The comedians didn't even need to exaggerate. Trump exaggerated everything himself. Kimmel says his speeches didn't need punchlines. They just needed a replay button. Noah adds that the entire show was proof that Trump cared more about his image than